Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. And today we're going to talk about riding gear that I regret buying. Now before we jump into this video, I want to say that I don't regret buying any of these things for myself. Everything I'm talking about here is based on my experience with friends, family members and other people that I've met in the motorcycling community who have bought these items and they have had nothing but problems with them. So use this as a guide on what not to waste your money on when you're getting started, or even if you're an inexperienced rider. Maybe you're looking to buy something new. You can use this as a guide so that you don't make the same mistakes that some others have made. The first thing on the list are inexpensive rain suits. Now, this could also go for any suit that's not made specifically for riding a motorcycle. If you look at Amazon, you can find full one-piece race suits that come in at just around $40. And if you look at eBay, you can find really good deals on used suits that are supposed to be for motorcycle riding. The problem with these suits is they don't offer the same protection that a proper motorcycle suit will. So first off, they're not going to have proper armor in the right places. So a lot of times they'll have padding in the shoulder and maybe in the elbow, but nothing in the hips. They also won't have a proper fit. A lot of times a suit that's not meant for riding will be loose, because it's designed to be worn while you're sitting, not while you're in motion. Also, they won't have a proper connection between the suit and the boots. A lot of suits like this actually have zippers. That's how you get into them, and you're supposed to wear them over your regular clothes. So there's no way for you to connect them to a motorcycle boot. So if you ever get in a slide, your foot is just going to come right out of the bottom and you're going to lose all control of the bike. A cheap suit might also not have a lining inside of it. A lot of time you LLC suits that have a thermal lining that you can remove and then put back in. But oftentimes you don't see a waterproof lining. And if it rains while you're out riding and you're wearing a suit like this, you're going to get soaked within a very short amount of time. Even if you do find a suit that has a waterproof lining, it still may not have the other features that you need to stay safe on a motorcycle. So most of these suits are not going to have a reflective material on them, which is really important when it comes to being seen by other motorists. The other thing is, you probably won't have any adjustability on the suit, so you won't be able to tighten it down and get the right fit that you need for riding a motorcycle. I have seen people online who have done some modifications to make these suits work better for riding. For example, they'll add Velcro strips to keep their boots in place. But even after doing that, you're still left with all the other issues that come with wearing a suit like this. So my recommendation is just to save up a little bit more money and get a proper motorcycle suit. It's going to be well worth it in the end. Alright, the next thing on the list is LED headlight bulbs. Now if you're coming from a car or even another motorcycle and you've got a set of halogen headlights on there, these are definitely going to be an upgrade. However, there are some downsides to using LED bulbs in your motorcycle headlights. So I've heard that some motorcycles, such as Harleys, if you replace the stock headlight bulb with an LED bulb, it's going to cause some flickering because the bike isn't producing enough power for that bulb. Also, depending on the bike, you might have a hard time finding a bulb that fits. Sometimes the LED bulbs have a different shape than the halogen bulbs do, and you might not be able to find one that fits properly in your housing. The last issue that I've heard is that the LED bulbs aren't as bright as advertised. A lot of people buy these LED bulbs thinking that they are going to be brighter than their stock headlights, and sometimes they not. So make sure that you read reviews and try to find the best ones that you can. Personally, I would just leave the LED bulbs in the car and get a set of auxiliary lights for your motorcycle. This way you can put the bright LEDs on your crash bar and you won't have to worry about fitting them in the headlight housing. Alright, the next item on our list are those super cheap helmets that you see everywhere on Amazon. There are several brands out there making helmets that look just like the big name brand helmets, except for they're only around $50. And although they might look good, you never know what you're getting when you buy a helmet like this. First of all, you're not going to have the same level of safety that you're going to get with a proper helmet. And the other issue is the fitment. You might get lucky and the helmet that you order fits you perfectly. But there are a lot of people who have ordered helmets like this, and they were completely wrong. They either ran small or large, or they didn't have the right shape for their head. The only thing that I think is worse than ordering one of these helmets, and it fitting badly, is ordering one of these helmets, getting it, realizing that it doesn't fit, and then trying to return it. There was a guy on Reddit who said he tried to return one of these helmets, and he could get his head back through the opening to take it back to the post office to ship it back. So he ended up having to cut the helmet open to get his head out of it. So please don't do yourself a favor and don't buy one of these helmets. If you need a cheap helmet, I would suggest going to a local shop and picking up a used helmet from them. That way you can try it on and make sure it fits. Also, by buying it from a shop, they might be able to help you with any issues that you have with the helmet. This next one is really for beginners, and that's buying a bike that's too big. A lot of times beginners will go out and they'll see a bike that looks cool and they'll buy it without ever sitting on it. They'll get it home and they'll realize that it's too tall for them. When I say too tall, I don't mean that it's too tall for them to ride. What I mean is that they can't flat-foot it. So when you're stopped, both of your feet are dangling out there and you feel unconfident and unstable. As I mentioned, a lot of bikes that are smaller in stature are going to be considered beginner bikes. So I would unrecommend going out and getting a Ducati or a KTM unless you already have experience riding other bikes. I'm not saying that you can't ride one of these bikes if you're a beginner, but I am saying that you should probably start out on something that's a little more manageable. It's going to give you the confidence that you need to move up to something like that later on. But if you're set on a certain bike and you really want to buy it, there's always the option of lowering the bike. Just be aware that if you lower the bike, it's going to affect the way that it handles. You're also going to stick out even farther, past the edge of the seat, which means you're going to be more susceptible to being pushed around by other vehicles. So be careful when you're lowering your bike. Only go down as far as you feel comfortable. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please subscribe, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. We do have another video that talks about riding gear that I recommend, and we also have one that talks about motorcycle maintenance that I recommend, so check those out. I'll catch you in the next one.